Okay, all right. So it looks like we're live for round number 2 on our training for today, which is mastering the skill of an effective call to action. I'm Sara. I'm from the harmoniousduo.com. And for those of you who maybe caught the last training just a few minutes ago, I apologize. I'm very sorry. I did not realize that I was experiencing a little bit of a glitch with my screen share. So I wanted to come in and redo this training for you real quick. So that way everybody who's tuning in has the ability to see the value that I was sharing in our last presentation. So let's go ahead and jump right into our retraining on learning how to master the skill of giving effective calls to actions for our business. So bear with me. We're going to try to screen share one more time. Okay. All right, so I believe that we are good to go. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So you're here because you want to learn how to master the skill of an effective call to action. Guys, mastering this skill will make all the difference in your business. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you first, what a call to action is, so you recognize, how to spot one and how to create one, the purpose of what it's there for. I'm going to share with you the 10 ways that we typically tend to kill our own call to actions. I'm also going to share with you three proven formulas to help you reinforce these calls to actions, as well as some very powerful phrases that you can start using and testing in your own with your own audience, with various forms of calls to actions, and see what works best with your audience. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, what is a call to action? Simply put, it's the most effective way to convert your leads into paying customers and team members. Okay, so basically, in order for your business to make the money, to have the money come in, it has to provide a product of value to the marketplace, but your business is not going to solely thrive or survive off of a great online available product, right? Your business has to revolve around value-based content marketing, which we talked about in a previous training. Now, when you have a product that fits the marketplace and combines that with all of your value-based content marketing, that's when you will see those massive amounts of sales that your business should be experiencing. But here's the problem. Okay. Knowing this, and even though you've got the great product that matches your market, you've revolved your marketing around your value-based content, and you're already implementing calls to actions, there's still something that isn't working, right? You're still not seeing results. Why? Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's most likely because of you. Now, what I mean by that is that a good portion of us are screwing ourselves into the ground because we are killing our own calls to actions. Yes, we are the problem. Go figure. Now, here's 10 ways that you are most likely killing your own call to action. Now, my goal here is not to discourage you if you're making any of these mistakes, because at one point or other, we have all made one, two, if not all of these mistakes. The good news is, and the goal for why I'm presenting you this information is that so you can recognize if and when you're implementing these no-nos in your calls to actions, and so you can redirect it and you can change it to an effective call to action that helps you see results. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first call to action, or the first way that you could be killing your own call to action, is by not having one. And you think I'm joking, but I'm actually being very serious. It's surprisingly easy to forget your own call to action. And I've been guilty of this as well, because what happens is, you get caught up in the creation of your content. Of course, you've made it SEO friendly so that your content can get ranked on search engines, you've syndicated it to all your social media sites, right? You've sent it out everywhere. But if the stuff that you're putting out never tells your readers what they have to do next, well, you're not giving a call to action, which means you're committing mistake number one. You're not giving a call to action. Very simple things like subscribe to my blog, like my page on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel even. These are all calls to actions, because what you're doing is you're telling your reader what they have to do next. And dedicated readers are potential leads that will turn into paying customers if you continue to provide value and nurture that relationship through your content and email marketing. But they're never going to turn into dedicated readers if you don't ever tell them what to do next. Okay? Now, problem number 2. Maybe you're killing your own call to action because you're hiding it, right? While you should be creating SEO-friendly content, which typically is an SEO-friendly article consists of at least 1,000 words. But the truth is, a good portion of your readers are never, ever going to read your entire article. Most of them will read about 3 or 4 paragraphs, and that's about it. So instead of planting your call to action in the middle or somewhere way down at the bottom, place a call to action right at the beginning of your article, so that way you can ensure that every reader who comes across your post is definitely going to see it, right? There's no way that they'll miss it, because boom, it's right there. As soon as they open it, in a non-spammy way, it's right there. Excuse me. Now, problem number 3 is that maybe you're lacking authority in your call to action. This is a huge problem, especially for those who are brand new to to their online marketing business, or even social media in general. So when you deliver your call to action and it lacks that assertiveness, right, your authority, guys, you've lost your readers. They're gone. And if you lose your reader, you lose your potential lead and customer, which is exactly what we don't want to have happen for you. Now, the thing that I can liken problem number 3 with is a flimsy handshake, right? I don't know about you, but I'm from the South, and I was raised to have a very firm handshake. That's how you show your confidence. That's how you show your sense of authority, is by the strength of your handshake. So when I come across people in positions of authority and I am given a flimsy handshake, I second guess their level of authority. I do. It's just the way that I've been raised. And it's a trait that I've noticed that tends to be rather accurate. So your call to action that lacks authority is like a flimsy handshake. No one likes it. So when you're telling your readers what to do next, whether it's subscribe here, download this, purchase this, register for this, do it with conviction. I'm not saying you have to be mean. I'm not saying you have to be bossy, but do it with a sense of conviction, because you know from experience that without a doubt that your reader is going to get so much value from doing what you tell them to do. Now, problem number 4 is that maybe you're not specific enough, right? Think about it. I'm busy. You're probably extremely busy. What makes you think, guys, that your reader is any different? We all live very fast-paced lives. And, me personally, I'm a stay-at-home mom to my daughter. She's 2.5, and she's a crazy bundle of never-ending energy. She runs me ragged. There's always something to do. There's always a class that we're going to. There's always an activity we have planned, play dates, doctor's appointments, just all kinds of stuff for her. And that doesn't even include the duties that I have to do around the house or for our online business. So I am extremely busy. So I know that if I'm very busy, that my audience is also very busy. So what you can do is show your readers that you recognize that fact about them, that you understand that we're all busy and you're not there to take up all of their time. So when giving your call to action, be as specific as possible. When you're constructing your call to action, you never, ever, 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 ever want to make your reader second guess what you just told them to do. If your call to action is in any way confusing for you, it's definitely going to be confusing for your readers. Your job here, guys, is to literally spell it out for them in black and white, what they need to do and when it needs to be done by. You are there to simply connect the dots and make the process as easy as possible for them to do what you're asking. So whether it's to click here to register, click here to download your gift, or click here to purchase, spell it out, okay? Make it very specific. Now, problem number 5, in the sake of honesty, that I have committed this boo-boo as well, is that we're giving too many commands, right? We're overwhelming our readers. Oftentimes, we put up our content, we share it on social media sites, but we're posting blindly. We're not, what's happening, what I mean by that is that we're not posting with a clear intention of what we want our prospect to do. Is it to buy your product? Is it to register for maybe a training that you're hosting later in the week? Is it to like one of your social media pages? Is it to subscribe to your blog, subscribe to your YouTube channel? What is the intention? What is it you want your prospect to do? So what happens, something that I've noticed, because I have committed this error as well, is that we want to give every one of those calls to actions. We want to give every one of those commands in each blog post that we put up, right? Because we're excited. We want to capture them in every way possible. But what happens is you're now making your reader feel incredibly overwhelmed, a little anxious. And if you ever make your reader feel overwhelmed, they're going to leave you high and dry with no shame. They will not even think twice about feeling bad or guilty about never coming to visit you ever again. So something that I learned, something that Brandon and I picked up during our training, is that you should focus on 2 call to actions tops, meaning have a primary call to action and a secondary call to action. So to give you guys an example, say you've created a blog post, or you're in the middle of creating a blog post, and you have your 2 calls to actions. Say that your primary call to action is for your prospect to become a team member, and your secondary call to action is for them to join your special team member Facebook group. That's an example of 2 very focused, non-overwhelming calls to actions, a primary and a secondary that fit one another, right? Because again, right, you've got to be authoritative and specific. That example I just gave you is both authoritative and specific. Throwing out a million commands at your readers is going to diminish the likelihood of them doing what you want, okay? Now, problem number 6 is that maybe, just maybe, you're lacking benefits to your, potential customer or, potential team member. So, we tell you guys all the time that your content has got to be value-packed. All the time, value-packed. It's not enough that you have an amazing product that people want. It's not enough that it's not enough that you are constantly just saying, buy this product, it's amazing, buy this product, it's going to change your life, buy this product, it's going to do many wondrous things for you. You've got to give them further information, stories that solve their problems. It's got to entertain them, it's got to educate them, and it's got to inform them of the benefits of solving their problems with what you have to give. What are they getting, guys? You've got to remember that the whole purpose is you're constructing your content for your reader, for their benefit. Your call to action has got to be constructed with that same mentality. So, when you're giving a call to action, do not forget to showcase the value of following through with your direction. Explain to your reader exactly what they will get when they follow your call to action. Because when they combine the value of your content with the benefits of listening to your direction of following through with your command, what happens is they start to feel that if they don't listen to you, that they're going to miss out on something big. They're going to miss out on being a part of something. And no one likes to feel left out. No one likes to feel as though they're excluded from anything. And this factor can be very beneficial if you know how to use it properly and with good intention. Now, problem number, what are we on? Number 7 is that, possibly your call to action is lacking urgency. In fact, it lacks urgency so much to the point that there is none. It's non-existent. And, the best way that I can describe to you or give you an example of the perfect construction of urgency is my least favorite holiday, which is Black Friday. I know it's not an official holiday, but it basically may as well be, right? Because when Black Friday comes around, all shopping centers, they start telling their customers weeks in advance that the time of year is near. It's about to be around the corner. And if you're not shopping on Black Friday, guess what? You're missing out on major, major, major savings. It's that sense of urgency. It's that same crazy sense of urgency that that's been created by these stores that cause people to literally camp out in front of their doors right after they finish their Thanksgiving dinners, right? These people, they don't even bother to have dessert. As soon as they finish their turkey, they're out the door and they've already got their gear ready to go because they know for the next 12 hours waiting for the stores to open, because they know that by not doing so, they run the risk of missing out. Black Friday is the prime example of urgency. So when you're giving your call to action, if you're giving it without a sense of urgency, you're killing your call to action. You may as well not have one. So something that I recommend that you try is to test out various types of urgencies for your products or your trainings. Try letting people know that one of your products is only going to be available for a limited time. Try using a price increase. That one works incredibly well. Let them know that, right now your product is this price, but you cannot guarantee that it's going to stay that way. In fact, the price is going to increase in the future, so you may as well take action by purchasing your product now before you risk it increasing in the future and missing out on your discount. That's a great way to inform your readers also of limited quantity, because typically a price increase will most likely lead to a limited quantity because people are going to be buying more of it. All of these are really great examples of ways that you can let your readers know that they need to get their rear in gear. They need to put some pep in their step, right? And they need to act right now. That's an effective call to action, because again, the fear of missing out on something is a major motivating factor that will get people to buy all kinds of things. Black Friday is the prime example. I want you to carry with you every time that you're creating a call to action. I want you to remember Black Friday, because that is going to give you that urgency. It's going to remind you of that type of motivation that you've got to give your readers, and it will be effective. I promise you that. Now, problem number 8 is that your call to action isn't standing out. Ugh, that's terrible. Is your call to action, is it standing out from your content? Can your readers differentiate your content from your call to action? Whether it's on your blog post, your Facebook page, your Google Plus page, wherever it is there an immediate difference between the two? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if your call to action not only looks but feels the same as the rest of your content, it's not standing out, it's blending in, and it's essentially lost. That's exactly what we don't want to have happen for you. No, we want your calls to actions to stand out. We want them to pop. We want them to be in their face so that there's no way that they miss it, right? So something that you can try that's been very successful for us is that if, typically the text color of your content is usually always black, right? Well, when you're creating your calls to actions, create those calls to actions, change the font color to a bright green or bright blue. Those two colors have been very beneficial for us. So maybe it's something that you want to try. This way your call to action is instantly and inescapably recognizable while your reader is scrolling through your content because it pops out, right? It's different, it's big, it's bold. Your call to action has got to be visible, 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 visible right from the get-go. Now, on to our second to last problem, guys. Maybe your big issue with your call to action is no credibility. This is a big problem that brand new people have, and it's very common. If you're brand new to your online network marketing business or social media sites, one focus to keep in mind is that, yes, is that you're building credibility with your audience. That's got to be a big focus for you guys, because without this, you're going to find that getting people to do what you tell them, what you ask them, is going to be insanely difficult. Like trying to get my daughter to take a nap difficult. It's just not going to happen. So, I want to share with you 2 tips that I just recently learned that I'm testing right now with our market, and you can do the same as well. Tip number 1 is that use company logos. If you're in an online network marketing business, you are an affiliate of that company. So use the company logos to your advantage, because yes, we teach all the time that you should be branding yourself as an individual, that you're not just some replica cog in the machine of your company, but that you're an individual marketer, you're an individual business owner. That's something that you should be doing, but your main objective is to sell your products, at least for all that is holy. I hope that's an objective. If not, then you might be in the wrong business. But it's helpful. The reason why you using company much a part of and connected to a trustworthy company that's already built a very positive reputation. It helps your readers kind of relax and feel more comfortable with trusting you, especially if you're giving them tons of value in your value-based content marketing. Now, the second tip is to consider having your sponsor or maybe a mentor that you trust and follow guest post on your blog. This is going to go miles to building trust with your readers, as well as building your credibility. So you're getting 2 in 1. And also, if your blog post has the ability to connect all of your social media sites to your page, why haven't you done it yet? Do that. Do it right now. Pause this video. Go do it right now. This is going to show your readers, exactly how many followers that you have on every social media site that you've connected. It's going to show them comments that people are making about you and the information you're sharing. And it's going to be this right here is gigantically influential, especially in today's world, because people follow and buy from those that they know, like, and trust. But more importantly than that, people follow who other people follow. So if your readers can see the social proof, right? The amount of followers you have, the amount of likes, the amount of comments, if they can see that you give value and that the people following you love what you have to offer and are willing to follow and buy from you and be loyal to you, you are going to increase your likelihood of that reader now converting themselves into a paying customer, which is exactly what our goal is to convert our readers into paying customers and potential team members. Now, our last way that you could be killing your own call to action is too much unnecessary talk. I know that you've had to have heard the phrase, keep it simple, silly. I'm not going to say the other word because in our house, that's a bad word. But, oftentimes we tend to dump basically truckloads and truckloads of the terminology that revolves around our industry within our content. And I'm here to tell you that while it makes you sound really smart and like you know what you're doing, it's going to do nothing for you in the long run. Here's why. You know what that means. You know what that terminology means. Your reader doesn't. They have no clue what you're saying. And this was also one that I was guilty with as well, because I have, growing up, I read a lot of books that were most oftentimes above my current reading level. I was always, looking up words in the thesaurus and the dictionary, finding out what they meant, how you could, list it as a different way to create various ways to amp up my writing. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work when you're when you're producing content for readers within your specific marketplace, because you're the only one who knows what you're talking about. And if you're the only one who knows what you're talking about, you're the only one reading it. So, again, something to keep in mind is that this is a very fast-paced environment that your readers are living in. So instead of confusing them to death with a bunch of words they not only don't understand or use themselves, keep it simple. Your calls to actions should be simple. People like simple. So persuade your readers through a very short, very simple, very easy to understand call to action, because that's what works hands down every time, the absolute best. All right, now we just went through all of the 10 ways that you could possibly be killing your own calls to actions. Now we're going to provide you with a solution and show you how, by using these 3 proven formulas, you can reinforce your calls to actions to make them more powerful and effective. So formula number 1 is to ask for the sale. This was something that I was not doing in the beginning, and I didn't even really realize that that's what was happening until I realized that's what was happening, because we weren't seeing any money. We weren't seeing any results. It was just crickets. And once I discovered that this was the problem that we were having and I was able to fix it, we've now been able to see those financial results that we've had planned for our business all along. So your first call to action should be solely 100% focused on the buying of your product. Now, if you have more than one product, you need to highlight only one per blog post, okay? So, for example, if you've got, say you sell health products, right? Supplements, vitamins, things like that. Then what you want to do is separate your product. So say you write one blog post that's specifically about the problems that your audience is facing with their health and how this particular product will solve that problem. That is formula number 1, asking for the sale of that specific product. Because again, you don't want to overwhelm them with your 6 pages list long of products that you have for them to buy. This is your buy now command. This particular call to action is what is going to, it's basically going to take your reader from your blog content to their next step, which is to complete the sale, complete the purchase, or becoming a team member. It's important to note that this will work only, guys, pay attention, this is only going to work if your product is what your market is looking for or even interested in purchasing in the first place. If it's got to match your market. This is exactly why you'll hear us preach all the time about the importance of finding a specific niche and market to them versus every single person on the planet. Because what happens when you market to everyone? You market to no one. So find your niche, your specific niche, and market to them. Formula number 2 is capture your lead. This formula is what's going to capture your traffic or your visitors when they're in what's called their consideration mode, meaning they're considering your company, they're considering your product or your service. So when visitors like your page on Facebook, for example, or maybe they begin to follow your shorter version of your content through various social media sites like Pinterest or Instagram, then what your job is to do in this particular formula is to give them a minor commitment call to action. A minor commitment call to action is when you have them provide you with your email address. This is where you ask them to provide their email address so that they can opt into your list. Because if you're not building a list, you're not building a business. And this is formula number 2, is a way for you to do that in a non-spam way. This minor commitment, like we said, it builds your list. Super, super important for your business. And it also gives you the opportunity to redirect that reader back to your blog, where all of your content is, where all of your value is. This is where they're going to find the full version, or what's called the long version of your content. So remember, when you're sending out your emails to your lists who made that minor commitment, you're going to redirect them back to your blog, where you have more clickable links, more calls to actions to your affiliate or product sales pages. This is huge, 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 huge. Okay, formula number 3 is to nurture and develop the relationship. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that, guys. It's getting a little hoarse. Formula number 3 is all about pointing your readers to other on-site content, which basically, simple terms, it means that you're redirecting those readers to your previous blog post, or what's called your blog archives, where it's got every post you've ever created. The reason you do this is so you can give that reader an opportunity to completely immerse themselves in all the value-based content that you have to offer. Because your previous posts, again, like we just talked about in Formula 2, they've all got their own calls to actions to various products, trainings, or services that you've provided. And this will increase the likelihood of your sales turning into sales and conversions. And something important to note that I want you guys to take very seriously with this, because I've noticed many times when we get to this step, when we explain this third formula to our team members, we see some of them going a little crazy. And I'm here to remind you that your content, yes, it should have hyperlinks embedded all throughout your content, which will lead to a product or an affiliate page. Yes, that's true, but it should not look like every other word is a clickable link, because that's just tacky. We are marketers, right? We have class, we take our business very seriously, and we understand that from our market's perspective, that just looks very tacky. So remember that when you're creating your hyperlinks that you're embedding throughout your content, and keep it clean, okay? If you ever second guess that maybe you've got one too many, chances are you've got one too many. So let's just keep it clean. Let's not go crazy, okay? Something else for you guys, here's a big tip, is to encourage your visitors to leave their own comments on what they just read. This is huge because it's going to show visitor engagement, which is going to build your relevancy within your own market. But here's the kicker, it builds your social proof, because what did we talk about? People follow other people. So if other people see engagement on your stuff, they are more likely to engage on your material as well. Something to think about. So when you're creating hyperlinks for your calls to actions in your blog post or your social media content, here's another tip. Try switching up the wording. So for example, say you give 3 calls to actions, right? Your first 2 call to actions could look the exact same. They could both say something like start today. But what we want you to do is we want you to test it to where your third call to action says maybe something different. It says something like, now's the time to start today before time runs out. And in this third call to action, yes, we want you to make sure that it's worded differently than your previous 2, but try using a different font if you can as well. And also use a different color, because it's going to help your command stand out. Doing this is it triggers something in your reader's brain. It's basically what happens is there's a part of our brain that is particularly hardwired to immediately notice and pick out differences in our environment. And yes, this includes our on-screen online environment. So because of this because you have a third call to action that's very different, it's very unique, your reader is going to immediately, because of its hardwiring in the brain, they're going to immediately see that this command stands out and it's going to catch their attention. This helps also provide that sense of urgency, because now the reader is going to wonder, why is this command different? Why does it look different? Why is it different colored? It must be because it's more important. So now I have to follow through, because this is obviously something very important. So, recap, to reinforce your calls to actions. Formula number 1, ask for your sale. Formula number 2, capture your lead. Formula number 3, nurture and develop the relationship with that lead through your email marketing. Now, examples of 23 very powerful, very proven, effective call to action phrases. Here is where you can either take a screenshot or, of course, you can always write it down. I'm going to read them out, so that'll give you guys a chance to write them down if that's what you're choosing to do. But here we go. Okay, so number 1 is click here to find out all the details. Try it free. You're just 1 click away, right? That's a really good one, because it's implying to the reader that they only have one more step to take, which is click this right here, and you'll be on your final step. So it's letting them know it's going to be quick, it's going to be easy, it's going to be painless. 4, start now. I invite you to. I urge you to act at once. I can't wait to hear from you. Just hit reply and I'll email you the details. And this particular one is really helpful because of the fact that your autoresponder will usually have some sort of method to where you can connect a hyperlink onto your autoresponder. So if you implement this particular phrase for your readers and they actually click it, it will automatically connect them into your autoresponder onto your list. All you've got to do is just seek out your specific autoresponder and ask them how to do that. And they are usually very helpful with giving you the directions on what to do. Phrase number 9, order now while there's still time. To place your order, click here. For a short time only, get it now. Best value. Limited availability. Act quickly. Save your seat. This is your solution to. This is your solution for. You don't want to miss out on, and again, you want to tailor the blank space to whatever product it is, whatever you're directing them to. Number 19 is grab yours now. Share this with your friends and fans. Read our latest post. Download your free gift. That one's super popular with us. And claim your spot today. Wow. All very powerful, effective phrases. And I can tell you, by switching it up and not using the exact same one every single time, you will see a difference. You will see a noticeable change in the reactions with your market. So again, it's all about testing, experimenting, and really when we come down to it, that's what your business is all about. You are in a constant learning phase. You're in a constant experimentation phase. So just run with it and have fun. And the biggest tip for this that I can give you is to make sure that your hyperlink, right, your call to action hyperlink, will take that reader to exactly where you told them it would go. You would think that that's kind of obvious, but this is a very common mistake, because what I've noticed is that most often new marketers, they will try to use a very effective phrase that actually has nothing to do with where they're sending people for the sole purpose of capturing their attention and getting them to follow through. That's a big no-no. Don't do that. That makes your readers very angry, and it causes them to distrust you because you're not doing what you said you would do, which is take them to a specific place. So if you're asking for a lead to, I don't know, say click here to purchase a specific product, and it takes them to your Facebook page where they now have to do the searching for themselves, they now have to go looking for your product, you've just lost a customer. And that's exactly what we do not want to have happen to you guys. So if your call to action says to click here to buy a certain product, make sure you redirect them to that product's specific purchase page. The call to action has got to match the redirect. Otherwise, you risk pissing off your your potential customer and losing them for good. Stop it. Okay? Make sure they match. All right. We done? Here we go. Okay. So I hope you guys found a lot of great value from today's training. And I really hope that there was at least one thing of value that you took away from today's training that you will take action on and implement within your own business starting as soon as this training is over. Okay. Because again, once you master the skill of effective calls to actions, you're going to see that shift in your business and it's just going to just take off like a rocket. You're going to see exactly, or at least in the direction of the results that you're looking for, that you're striving for. As long as you continue to master this skill, you'll see those changes in your business that you've been looking for. Now, as a special gift for everyone who tuned into round 2 and everyone who stuck through this presentation, if for whatever reason it didn't screen share again, feel free to click over to the side of your screen because I've given you guys a download link for the slides that I talked about in this presentation for you to download and reference anytime you need to. So maybe there was something that you forgot. Maybe you stepped away for a minute. Maybe, my screen glitched. I don't know. But just as a thank you for tuning into today's training, get your copy of the presentation slides by clicking the link over to the side of your screen, and make sure as soon as you get off this training that you start implementing these skills within your business and you start giving those effective calls to action so you can start seeing those results in your business. Make today a great day, guys, and we'll see you on the next Hangout. Take care.